Oh, if your notification button just turned on, that means the Keeping It Real with Samuel Lyon is back and the episode is live. So like, share, subscribe, and sound off on the comment section. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we can do better and how we can best serve you better. Samuel Lyon is here for you, and yeah, it's the episode.
Because I feel like a lot of people work through life and some people haven't even found it, not to talk of losing it, right?
Yeah,
So
crazy.
let's talk about purpose, right? As a young person in this part of our world,
Mm.
a lot of distractions, a lot of frustrations. So I need you to just quickly run us through what your experience has been losing your sense of purpose, losing your sense of direction. How did you cope with it? How did you deal with it? And if you have, because I'm sure I would not be surprised if you haven't still figured your shit out at this point. But yeah, tell us your own personal understanding of loss in the sense of purpose and direction.
You went far from the truth when you say you wouldn't be shocked if I'm still, because I'm definitely still on that journey. But I would still be grateful for how far I've come. And the loss of purpose is underestimated every single time, especially in these are parts of the world, because I've seen people that growing up, I was like, holy, they were my holy grail. I'm like, okay, that's it. That's how you do it. That's And then over the years, you see them, you see how they've deteriorated, and you're like, what happened? How did it get that bad? Or is that what happens when you get up there and then
Get to that position in life.
it still falls back to the human networking and everything? Because most of like I know for sure if I get to like have a one-on-one with them, it might not just be what I'm thinking. But as a young person growing up, I'm not understanding the value of human economy. I'm like, is that because that must be it? Because for some of the people that were my holy grail, I've heard stories of like, oh, okay, so it's issues. It's always human problems. Oh, this person was a debtor here, that there's a misunderstanding there, and all of that. The family, you're not getting happy with the family, so it it breaks you, and then you lose because these were put away. One of the biggest pain has to be the fact that you roll with people. Like I've had a time in my life where I can talk about that. Like just a couple of let's say 2 years ago, I felt like I was in like my highest of high, and I was just hitting it because I built the relationship with a friend, with friends. I have a friend group. We are 10, and over the years, because of like growth and evolution, from 10 to now 7, and it was issues that happened with these ones that we are now like the 10, the 7, and I wouldn't have to call up my friends. I'm like, I hate for me to lose what I love because of what I hate. Because we started with this and we are with this. And if we are not careful, before we finish this whole thing, this school year, we might have nobody here. So I'm done throwing it on the carpet when something that needs to be addressed, and we leave it out there and be like, oh, because you might not understand how impactful it is when you are going there, and then the people you're rolling with, and then you don't have people that you can lean on. You don't have how you can like your purpose. You'll be shocked how even your job is dependent on the people there, or the people you get to go home to, because I might be my goal might be so I'm firing on all cylinders, and but all of the other factors that are supposed to keep me up are dragging me. The goal is no more like it doesn't, it feels way different, and having to lose my friends, it shockingly got to me. This for the first time in 2 years, this is like the very first time in 2 years like I had none of my friends to support, like, because I realized, you talk about reviewing yourself, I realized that, oh, so I could go through that time because Margaret was right there. I could call on Uche and I'm like, Uche will figure it out. For the first time in 2 years, Margaret is living another life. Uche is living another life. And I'm like, yes, we are communicating, but it's now different because the way the value system was working then is not that now. The way I could, easily ask for something, or the way I could easily ask something of them or from them, I can't do that now because we are not in like the same space and we can't really give back. Like it's different. The answers are different. And I saw myself hit like one of the biggest lows these past 2 years, and I'm like, oh, I see now. It gave me that sense of that now this is talk about mindfulness we talked about on the other episode, more of like discernment. I feel sometimes we can see the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say that I'm like all sense and all. I'm very real with you. There are times that I see my own truth right now. I'm like, this is what you need to effing do, and I'm not doing it because I'm like, fear. Oh no, let's keep it safe. Let's keep it tight up, and then the issues we're running away from hits. What do you do when you knew what you were supposed to do, you did not do it, and then something happens to you? That is one of the biggest things I have to deal with every single time. And if there's anything I have tried to see how I can manage is how I manage my discernment, my sense of truth, understanding what to do and how to do it.
Okay, so you mentioned, while talking about this whole your experience with sense of losing your sense of purpose, right? You mentioned two significant people who played a role in that aspect of your life, right? Margaret and Uche, right? So, in the sense of what role did they play in anchoring you on that path, right? Because you being on that path, what role did your 10 friends play? And what role do you think they can play for someone who's listening to this podcast right now, who's listening to this, watching this right now? What role do you think your friend structure or your friend group, like you said, can play? And why, or if is it important for people to have? Or there's some other alternatives to that friend group that people can have to deal with, losing that sense of purpose? And last and final question, how can they find their way back when they get lost? And I know this will be difficult because I don't think that, everyone will find their way back.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
When you talk about Margaret and Uche, like I can sit here and talk about them the whole day. But if I'm trying to be fair, those two have been very pivotal in my life, sincerely. I can't talk about those two and have a straight up like I can't talk about them and be straight up because right now like I just want to like just cry because they've been talk about
If you need to do, just take a second, all right? Just take a second.
it's when they say there's a adage in my village, if you're an around person you would know this very well. Oh, you can we have a backup body. Sorry, you can we have backup body, which says someone's brother or somebody you might need for life is actually on the road. So kind of like you're on your way to life, the person you might need for life is just right there. It is not in here. So talk about not always being comfortable where you are. You should always be on the move. Meeting Margaret and Uchi has to be one of the most pivotal things that the opportunity I've had, and having to have those people in my life and have them show up in times that they did show up is an understatement to not regard them as one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. Because funny enough, so this December, every December in the past 2 years, I've tried to always do what I call the Samuel Lion appreciation post, where the only spot I choose who needs to be there is number one, which is the day one, the December 1st, which is always God. And I tried to review my relationship with him that past year, that very year. And I did that this year, and it's up on my Facebook, it's up on my TikTok, and not all my social media. Like I have to put it up there everywhere. And I believe day three now also since 31 days, it depends on how my relationship that year has been. Like the people have been connected to you. So most days I have more three people. And I don't choose. It's at random. When I wake up, I'm like, how do I feel today? Who am I really grateful for? So I don't sit out. I don't sit day. I don't sit out and map out my 31 days. And these are the people. I can never do that because shockingly, I can even be. I can wake up today. I'm like, oh, I really feel grateful to tell Uche thank you. So Uche, I'm the one person. Some days I'm just one person or a brand that has been valuable to me. Or some days I'm having like multiple posts. And when I wanted posting Margaret, I reviewed how I post. I thanked Margaret in different posts over the years, but this year was really different. And this was the year I really put in the story, and I want to share it here. So, how did I meet Margaret? I met Margaret my very first day in the University of Calabar. So I was they wanted to go meet the HOD to review us if we are actually students of this department. So you know for sure that has to be a very serious day. Everybody with I'm going with files and everything. And in walk Margaret at that time, carrying so many files. And I had a rule. I'm gonna go into school and we're not doing friendship, we're not doing friends, we're not meeting anybody, we are just like straight up school, go through the school and leave. And I mean, talk about after, talk about shock to the system. And he walked this black, and like, and that's
Dark
like,
skin.
oh my goodness, all serious, all. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm sitting right next to my cousin at that time, Helen. And the chick was like, dude, come on, we need to be focused. I'm like, oh my
We're
god.
here for business. Strictly for business.
And here she was. It felt like talking to you right now. I always tell her every second, I'm like, this feels like a Netflix series. Because then she walked in with so many files and everything. And then she just, I don't even know who she fell off. Like, she literally fell off and papers everywhere. And I left my review with the HOD to go help somebody that I've never met.
This is Korean movie in real life.
And I mean,
There was a lot of wind and the papers were flying all over.
like it's crazy. And I used to like it. Her hair was all over the place. I'm like trying to pick up the fact, okay, fix your hair. And she's on lens or glasses.
Wow.
So I'm like, it's just like, I'm like, oh, I was hooked. That was it.
Wow.
That was it. And I have
It was a lightning moment for you. It was Eureka, snap, light bulb.
Crazy how I went into the HODs. I couldn't focus. I'm like, okay, so they were calling names, people were entering, getting the review done. My dad, if he gets to hear that my siblings, they will literally kill me for this. I left my review to go after Margaret because she went in and submitted what she wanted and she was leaving. And I'm like, I need to be here. What if they call me now? But I might not get to see her again. I don't even know if she's even for this, but like, what? I'm not missing what I just experienced. I left my review, ran straight down, and now I was right behind her. Okay, now comes the truth. Oh yeah, tap her now. I was freezing, but I was still walking to, and maybe she wasn't. She did not even get. She was just talk about somebody that is always like on the move, and she almost like I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna go? How am I gonna go? It's gonna be weird. And I saw her stop by the faculty, and she was talking to a couple of people there, and I now stood there. I was listening to them talk to her, and those ones called her Margaret. So so her name is Margaret, okay? And she was there explaining things to them about the department, the literature and everything. And I'm like, okay. So immediately she just thought I was just right here. I'm like, hey Margaret, so I want to ask you about this HOD thing because it gets me crazy. Me that everything done. I'm just like, listen, could you help me go through this? Because I don't even know what. Like, okay, so I used to know it. Yeah, I'm like, yes. And then she gave me a number, sharp. That was it. When I got that number, I'm like, thank you. I ran back. I'm like, oh shit, I missed my review. But luckily I did not, and then I got that. And right from that day, like I tell you, I've not left that moment. How can somebody be like, how can you experience someone that way and you still experience that every single day? This is the one person that all of these years, there are times where I'm like, I shouldn't even be calling you for this. She talk about somebody knowing you like the back of their hand. So vulnerability is one of those things that I know most of my young people my age, don't do. But talk about learning and unlearning. I learned to be tough growing up with my mom because my siblings were, now this is one of the main issues. My mom wasn't with I did not meet my mom married. Although she was married, she separated from my husband, but they were still married. So I was raised by my mom by herself. So when I did put that post out there, talk about me making my siblings get angry, I used the term single mom because in my mind, single mom, the term single, the word single mom, I mean, is a terminology now.
Yeah,
It
it's a
doesn't just.
derogatory terminology.
It has evolved. It's
Yeah.
not just single mother. Oh, that's a single woman that did not get married. So they got mad at that line. Like, how could you call mom a single mom? How dare you disgrace the name of our mom? How dare you? She was married. She is Mrs. Ekadewa. How dare? I'm like, it's the terminology. Oh, what they have gone to school? Oh, what they are graduates? I'm like, oh shit. So like, it got to me because I'm like, I was raised by a single mom. And I'm not using that term out of it, so I'm trying to like get
that was your experience.
That's my experience because it was her by herself. So I understood what it means to be groomed with love. Always knowing someone that's one thing I could lean on. My mom, I didn't know, I was almost 18. I was a month away from turning 18 when my mom died. Every single time I stepped in that house was right beside my mom. My mom quarreled every single time. You're big enough to go sleep on your own, go join your siblings, go. I'm like, she was like, hey, so what if my husband was here? I'm like, let him come.
When he comes,
When they come, I will leave. But for now, this is my space. He got to the point where, like, she was like, you're not gonna share the same bed with me. I'm like, but I'm gonna share the same room with you. And I will be like, this is my mom bed. I'm just right here. So I took that with me all of these years. And when I met Margaret, it's as if like I transferred that. How could you be this way and everything, and getting to share stories and be vulnerable with her. I've had times where I know she will kill me for this, where she's like bawling her eyes out, she's like literally just crying, and I've had times where I'm like, she's had to call me out on so many things. She's like, I know you're a man, so your ego is one of the things that is very close to you. There are some decisions that you'll be shocked before I take it. That's the one person I call. I'm like, I'm not calling you because I don't know what I need to do. I fucking know where I need to do and what I need to do. But right now, I know for sure somebody else needs to come into this picture. And I've had her walk out on me on some decisions. I'm like, you're on your own on this. I'm not telling you not to do it because I know you're a man, you're going to do it. But I'm just telling you that when it falls flat on your face, anyhow you get over it or go through it, you are alone on that. Nobody needs to be in a situation where they are told you are alone on this. And she has to really state why she would tell me that. And I have to be okay knowing the fact that, okay, would I be okay when I definitely fall flat on my face? Or can I do this? There are some decisions I will take and I will do it on my own. I'm like, and then she will come around and be like, come around later after the whole thing and be like, okay, so you really did take that. And you were sure of that. And okay, this is where that. And there was, I'm like, okay, hands up in the air, I surrender to this. What do you think is best? And then right when I follow what she said, months later, I'm like, holy shit, were you right? And the truth is, what she has taught me in the relationship and the friendship is the fact that you should be able, like your ego should and pride should be ready to admit when the truth is seen, and you should be able to give accountability and validate that person, and be able to take the criticism when they give it to you. And that's what Margaret has been. And same goes to Che, meeting somebody in school, in class, and never looking back. And he's the one, sometimes I call him Chief because I senior him, but it's more of like it's like, when you say Chief, like, he's an Igbo person. So, like, there's just a way he handles things. He's as masculine could get. He's so all ego, all pride, all. So he's more or less like a father figure, kinda. And the way he handles situations and circumstances when it comes to me, I learn every day from it. I tell him every single time, I'm like, I can never take that away from you. You've taught me so much. I've unlearned and learned. Trust me, I've had fair share of like where I'm telling him, I'm calling him out on things. But the way he's taught me how to manage friendship with all our pride and all our egos and all our own life, I've never seen anyone handle crisis like Uche has. And you'll be shocked how much I've learned from him. And if I were to tell people, This is just 2 of the 7 friends. The other 5 have the relation is way different, and this is the kind of experience I wish people my age will get to experience or be willing enough to give themselves to learn, because it's very hard to fuck up as a guy, and then your guy comes in and you, I mean, oh boy, actually I fuck up. Oh. I've had times where like I'm literally talking to him, I'm like putting out my mind, and I'm just I start crying because I'm like, it pains me so, because the last thing I want to do is go to do blows with you, because I'm like, that won't get us anywhere. I don't want to end up hating you or hating everything we've been through just because we did not come to terms and everything. So one of the things I've had to learn, and I need to say this right now, is like, what are we really fighting for? Are we fighting to be right, or are we fighting for the right? Most times is me trying, like, I get misunderstood a lot. People think, oh, I'm trying to, like, my opinion is to stand. No, I'm just, well, how can we get out of this? I'm not to blame if my opinion comes out the best, but at the end of the day, can we just see how we can come out of it? I never argue with anyone just so that I can prove that I'm the alpha. Yeah, oh, my own decision. I get to explain that to them every single time, even if it means me talking my head off, shouting my head off, raving it off for them to get it. And that is one of the most difficult things in relationship today for me as a human being, because I've seen it. People walk out on you because they can't take the way you criticize it or the way you handle the situation, and they walk out on it and like, F it.
So basically, you're talking about compromising your ego
Yes.
and your pride
Yes.
so that you can get real benefits from the structure that you have around you, right?